Alright, guys, so this is the P Alpha Music Podcast with another episode. This is episode number 75. This is your host, Pablo Jervis Vargas. Today is going to be very interesting. Like I always saying it's very interesting because it is. Let's be honest. All these topics are very interesting for me. If you like them, it might be interesting for you. So, a lot of self-development has been going on in the last couple episodes. I like that. I like that trajectory. Now, what we're gonna get into it is a little bit deeper into the inner game when it comes to the realism versus your perspective, or reality. Now, what I'm gonna do is just say the topic of today. So the topic is why everything goes wrong in my life. Okay, why everything goes wrong in your life. Have you ever asked those questions? Have you sat down with someone and they always say, "Oh man, everything goes wrong with me. What the hell's wrong? My life is all up and down. I just need to get it straight, but I don't know how to do it." So we're gonna get into it now. Why everything goes wrong in my life, right? That's the question of today. Okay, let me just do a disclaimer. I'm not a professional self-help guy, none of that stuff. I'm just sharing my opinion and my experience when it comes to things like this, how I deal with this, right? If everything goes wrong with you, I will give you your opinion, my opinion at the end of this video, so you stay tuned. If you're hearing me in my podcast, stay tuned. We're gonna get into it as well. Make sure that you go to anchor.fm P Alpha Music. You want to hear the other episode, you can do it as well. If you are in my YouTube channel, just make sure that you like and subscribe. Okay, why everything goes wrong in my life. Listen, let me just start this video saying that we all get hit with curveballs. Okay, and sometimes we get our ankles broke, so on and so forth. Okay, now, let me just give you a couple lists of things, right? That it might be the reason, right? That you can think that things go wrong. First one is that you think that everything is simply surrounded by you. That's not true. Come on now. Everything is not about you or surrounded by you, okay? The real thing is that we think too much of ourselves, okay? In reality, life is the world's bigger than ourselves, okay? I'm not saying don't go. You're not a microcosmo that nobody cares. No. Hear me out. You think too much about these things, right? It's not that life just goes just looking at you and trying to just make it things harder. It's just how life it is, but it's not that life itself is just looking up. Here's Pablo, let me just make things harder for him. It's not like that, okay? It might look like that, but it's not like that, okay? Now let me tell you something. Flashback. Everything is temporary, okay? When things happen, are not gonna last forever. Tough time never lasts. Tough people do. Okay, everything will not last forever. Okay, so have that in mind. Okay. Next one. Happiness is a result of your approach to life, not what happens to you. Okay. Happiness is a result of your approach to life, not what happens to you. Okay? You're deciding that everything goes wrong in your life. You're the one deciding that. Life is not seeing things like that. You are the one seeing life like that. Everybody treat me like this. Everybody talk about this. Everybody just do these things to me. Okay? If the first person called you and A H you know, you tell them back, hey, you are AH. If the second one tell you, hey, you are AH, you tell them, hey, you tell them back, hey, you are AH as well. Now, by the third time another person comes by to tell you, hey, you are AH, it's time to look at yourself in the mirror, okay? You might be the problem. It's impossible that everything goes wrong with you unless you're in a hole. Dig inside this planet Earth. And still, I think there's some room to just look at things differently. Happiness is a result of your approach to life, not what happens to you. Let's go to the next one. Look out the people that are in your corner. You know how sometimes you have an idea, you have some dreams, but those people that are surrounding you are the one telling you, hey, listen, maybe that idea or doing this or doing that it's not a good idea. Hey, just leave it on the side. Maybe you should not aspire too much. You say, you know, you're right, but then you're still thinking about those dreams. What happened is you start thinking what all those people that are around you are telling you. And what happened is you start creating doubts on yourself. And then all of a sudden those doubts become a reality. And then that's when you start thinking, damn man, why everything is not the way I want it? Hey, maybe the people that are in your corner are not helping you. Maybe they're really seeing the fight from the corner outside the ring, and they know that you can just throw a straight hook to the body, you can win the fight. They're not telling you that, right? You want to see you lose, okay? And because they want to see you lose, every advice that they gave you or they give you is to put you down, okay? Those people and this really start with the most important people in our life, family members or friendships. They will hold you over because they cannot see you succeed, because that means that they have to confront their own fears. Their own fears that those dreams that they had once could be a possibility. Huh? Therefore, they want to ruin yours, and everything just look disgusting, okay? Look out the people that are in your corner, okay? Next one, bad times don't define you, but your approach does. Bad times do not define you, but your approach does. Okay? You're responsible of how you see things. I have a pen here, right? If I break this pen, I can decide whether cry about it and say, you know what, I can get a new one, right? I can decide if breaking this pen can make me angry, right? Or keep me of a very temple, well-mannered individual. I decide that. If I'm doing martial arts, right, and I'm doing sparring, a kumite, whatever, right, and I get my beloved coochies destroyed, I get whooped, I decide whether I get frustrated or I say, you know what, it's time to just, fix that kick that still look kind of wonky. Let me just practice a little bit. Let me just take a time during my day, at least 10 minutes. Let me just make sure that side kick looks much better, right? It didn't feel good last time. Let me just practice that for 10 minutes. See, I decided that bad time when I got beat up by someone else, I said, you know what? Let me just get that and start practicing. Maybe I need some practice to get better. It's not that you having a bad time. It's just that you decided it was a bad time. Life works like that. Life works in ways where when it's presented, the situation is presented. For some reasons, humans want to see it in the best possibility, like in a Disney World. But life does not work like that. Life just present things in the matter where you don't like how it's presented, and therefore you get frustrated. You get frustrated with God. You get frustrated with things. You get frustrated with your wife. You get frustrated with the people outside. You get frustrated even for the mosquitoes that are in the kitchen. I'm not saying having mosquitoes in the kitchen is good, but it could be handled. But you just get frustrated. You decide again how you see things. Bad times don't define you, but you approach those. Okay. Next one of my favorites. Complaining, screaming, crying about it won't change anything. Okay. Complaining, screaming, crying about it will not change anything. Okay. So every second that you spend trying to cry about it, scream about it, what was the other one? Crying about it, I think I said it. Complaining about whatever. All those that are very similar, it will not change anything. Actually, does the opposite. It put you in a deeper hole because now you're down. You're now emotionally down. So therefore, instead of just pick yourself up, you can't. You're all the way down. Okay? So instead of just taking the bulls by the horn, you say, you know what, let me just scream about it. You see that a lot in today's society. Instead of fixing things, they just want to cry about things, okay? And nothing gets done, right? When we have a lot of opportunity to help people, and most importantly, not only help people, but put ourselves in the test, whether we really believe in these ideas or not. We don't do it. We just back off, start crying about it, complaining about it, and screaming about it. Not my style. Maybe, if things go wrong with you, you want to decide to do that. Guess what? You didn't fix anything. You just put yourself lower into a hole. Okay? Remember, crying doesn't fix anything, right? Right? But just grabbing the bull by the horn, at least you are in contact with the problem, okay? Next one, do not go to the blame game. It was your fault. It was your fault. No, it was not my fault. I did it because I did, but then you don't do that. Nobody wins when with the blame game is played. Nobody. Have you ever met someone that played the blame games and won something? No, exactly. Don't do it. The reason is because it just builds up negative energy. Okay. You don't want to say, I'm not doing something because my neighbor. Imagine this. In the last 15 years, I never built something in my backyard because there's a tree. A tree that I could just take care of it, but because of the city never came by and did it, I never did whatever I have planned to do in my backyard. You see how that sounds? But that's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. In people in today's society, they have a lot of ideas and they get inactive, right? And when they see the first excuse, they don't go with it. Okay, they just go and rest in that excuse forever. And then they find this excuse and say, you know what? I got it. That's the excuse I'm gonna use for the rest of my life to not do what I have to do. And that's perfect. The tree's there. You see, everything goes wrong with my life. Yeah, I have planned for my backyard, but that tree is up there. And worse, you know what's worse? There's a tree and there's cables, electric cables. Therefore, let me not do anything about it. Okay? Then blame games is like it's bad because it's just put you in a weaker position, not a leader. Okay? um, especially when you want to blame yourself. I'm all for just taking personal responsibility, but don't blame yourself, okay? See things through a different lenses, okay? Don't blame yourself. Just say, you know what? Let me see what I could have done differently to make sure I can just manifest what I want to manifest. Don't blame anyone. Just take responsibility in your part. Look at your friends or anybody or yourself and say, you know what? Next time we're gonna handle differently. Let's just make sure that next time when this happens, right, we're gonna take care of it, right? And we're not gonna blame anybody, right? So maybe another 10 minutes, or adding another 10 minutes to whatever we were doing before, I think will be enough to just finish what we needed to do. Okay, let's get it done next time. That's it. Okay, do not play the blame game. It will put you in a weak position and not in a leader position. Okay. Next one and last one. Very important. Do not panic. Do not go to a panic mode when you have something bad happen. Don't do that. The reason why is when you panic, you cannot hold yourself together, and the logical decisions are not there. Okay? Anxiety kicks in. All of a sudden, you cannot see anything. All of a sudden, you cannot even hear things, right? Let's step back. Make sure you're getting some air into your brain. Get your thoughts. And make sure that the panic is controlled, okay? Let me tell you, when my car got stolen, got burned. Not only burned, right? It was on purpose, just to commit a crime, right? What happened was, when I knew that news the next day, it was hard for me. Don't get me wrong. I kept myself, composed. My family didn't see me panic. I said, you know what? Let me see what I can do from my end, and see if I can just do my best to just get this team moving forward. Make sure the influences are good and everything. We played it through. Everything's good so far. But I didn't panic. If I panic, my family will panic, and that will be, it will go 360 from there, right? Make sure that you don't panic. Control yourself. Take a deep breath. Step back for whatever situation you're dealing with, right? And there's hundreds of situations that I can sympathize and stuff like that. But every situation is differently. But if it is just related with panicking, step back. Take a deep breath. And let's just make sure that we look for solutions. Okay. Why anything goes wrong in your life? Because you decide to see it like that. Simple as that. We all have bad things that happen to us. Every one of us. We're not special in this regard. Right? We're special for those ones that are close to us, right? But for the world, you need to pay your bills. You need to pay a lot of things. Okay? The world does not owe you anything, and does not owe you any Happy Meals. Okay? You are the one deciding if things goes wrong. You have to start seeing things in a different perspective, to just make sure that those thoughts are not eating you up. Okay? When things goes wrong, make sure you see it in a different lens, and just try to learn from them, right? There's a lot of good things that you can learn from your own experience when things goes a little bit wrong. Remember, it's a problem, and a problem is a great opportunity to find a fix, and that will make you a better person. Okay? Start seeing things with a different lens. I know saying about it's a little bit easier, I understand, but it's the best way I can just explain it right now. We can go deeper and have to just do some exercise about this, but for now, just make sure that start thinking things a little bit different, right? Hey, today we couldn't just go to the restaurant. Hey, at least we have food on the table. People in Africa, right? They're dying for having a plate in the table, right? You know, be grateful on a lot of things. We have a lot of things that we should be grateful, right? And you know, being grateful is a good exercise that you can just train yourself to make sure that you can start seeing things differently. Okay. All right. This was episode number 75 from the P Alpha Music Podcast. This is your host Pablo J. Ruiz Vargas. Episode: Why anything goes wrong in my life. This is the end.